being said, in my earlier message, I highlighted the course of the meeting and the different components that will be covered over the meeting, and how you can utilize those. To affect your business. So with that, we are going to talk about the obviously fast start, which is a big linchpin in your productivity. Earlier, I also discussed with everybody, when you look at the total productivity, you should be looking at getting at least half of your productivity should come in the fast start as well. So, you'll see great managers, and I'm going to have the opportunity to highlight a couple managers as well over the course of my message that definitely deliver. But when you're wanting to say, well, what can I do this summer? Obviously, it's important to have a big team, but it's also important that your big team sells. No big shot. So with that being said, my message, I'm going to give you some goods from me. I'm actually going to give you quite a few goods, though, from two different individuals. First one is Jeremy Todd. For those of you who are not aware, last summer, he actually had the #1 first weekend productivity in the region for all districts, and he had over $918 first weekend. So we talked about 700. He well eclipsed that as a brand new manager. And his total fast start productivity was almost $1,400. Wow. We got some tips from Jeremy on that. And then I also actually am going to be able to share some tips from Josh Rourke as well. He actually was #2 in the region first weekend last summer at $879, and his total fast start productivity was over $1,457. So we're going to be able to offer some insights from both of them, a little different of a perspective as well, which would be good. Here's a cool accomplishment from Josh. I want to make sure I have this. 31% of all reps he's launched over his 3-year career as a district manager have passed their first promotion in their first weekend. Wow. How awesome. Pretty impressive, huh? So I'm going to give you some of those nuggets as we go through it. He had someone who did $10,000 in his first weekend. He's trained someone to be able to do that, and did over $10,000 in their first weekend. Okay? And ended up doing over $20,000 in their fast start in 8 days. That's Fernando Arzola. Some Gold Coast know about him. He also trained someone who did $17,000 in their fast start, and then went on to set the all-time January record, which was held for 2 Januaries until one of the Gold Coast and our Southwest regions own Brianna Greenspan broke that this year. And he had a $14,000 fast starter too, and has trained over 15 people to do over $10,000 in a fast starter. So I got some goods. Jeremy, by the way, 3rd training class. So imagine this is a new manager, right? Brand new, or new to your territory. Your 3rd class, your fast starter does over 15 grand. That's what Jeremy did. Now, sometimes you're going to have obstacles come on, right? We don't know what those obstacles are, but imagine having a hurricane hit your territory. Pretty big obstacle, right? Imagine that, and then having people go back to school. That'd be really difficult to have a fast starter pop, right? Well, Jeremy Todd had someone this fall who immediately after Hurricane Ike sold over $17,000 in their fast start around the school. Wow. So I'm going to cover some of the things for Jeremy. And then overall, I'll cover a couple things just culturally that have helped Gold Coast perform at a high level. Over the past 3 years, obviously I know our divisions kind of shifted around a little bit, but total, we've had over 120 people do over $10,000 in their first 10 days. So it is a program. A couple of years ago, my office personally had 9 weeks in a row someone sell 10 grand or more. And then the next summer we had 8 people sell 10 grand or more. And then last summer we had someone who was not even from the area sell 20 grand. Emily Richards right here, manager too.
Nice shot, Emily.
So with that being said, I got some goods. You guys ready? Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, so the message that I'm going to really be covering for this one, and you've got 2 excellent speakers following me who have a crap ton of good quality information as well, is both Dane Feldman and Carson. So number 1 is this. If there's one thing that you want to take from this message is that consistency in the program is the key to success in the program. Consistency is the key. Excellence and execution, obviously, I know that's the theme, but consistency in that. You're going to have a lot of people who you run this program with who do not sell $10,000 in their fast start, and that is okay. But you'll have people sell more than if you didn't run the program. You'll have a lot of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 fast starters as well, and it does impact your productivity very, very quickly. My experience personally is this is the easiest lever to move to increase your productivity. So if you go, I'm a manager and I'm a great recruiter and I have lousy PPR, invest time into this one program, And this is the easiest way to impact your productivity, is this. Okay? Also, it's very important to understand this, and this is another key component to understand of this program, is your new representatives, even when they sell a lot, their demos are bad. Go with that understanding, is that they're not selling based on they've got this excellent Curtis J. Hughes or Justin Ledford demo. Their demo is not good, but they have a lot of enthusiasm and they have a heavy focus towards the result. So here's some keys. Key number one is this. Utilize your culture to help with big, fast starters. How do you utilize your culture? In training, stop-bys are key. You should focus on having a stop-by before the advancement section on day one. That will actually make a big difference for your day one. You want someone who comes in there, it's very nonchalant. How you respond as a manager is, hey, this is, Joe Schmo. They're still in their fast start. Joe Schmo, you're already at what? They're like, yeah, about 6. And they'll say it like that, about 6. Yeah, 6 what? Yeah, 6,000. And you're like, no big deal. Yeah, done a solid job so far. Started past 3 promotions. We're really proud of him. He's working really hard. Joe Schmo's got some lofty goals. He's wanted to be number 1 in his class, which is only one person can be number 1. And he's shooting to do over. What's your goal, Joe? 10. Cool. So Joe's looking to do over 10,000. All right, back to this thing. Okay. It's very nonchalant in that, right? It's not this, oh my gosh, let's stop everything because this person is, God's gift to cutthroat. On top of that as well, when you go through the advancement section, this is something that Jeremy Todd recommended is a very big key, is when you go through it, what you do is at each level, you highlight people who've achieved that in their first weekend or in their fast start. But you don't just do the $10,000 mark. You don't say all these people did 10 grand. You're like, yeah, so your first promotion's at what? And you're like, 1,000. Yeah, exactly right. Your friend Sue, she actually did that in her first couple days. It was pretty cool. The next promotion, I remember, yeah, 3 grand. Exactly right. Yeah, your friend Jamie, he actually did this. It took him about 5 days in his fast start. So that's when he actually passed the second promotion. 6 grand. Yeah, they did it in their first 10 days. We actually had somebody, and if it's not in your office, could be in your division, could be even in the region. But you want to utilize it. Yeah, someone last week actually in Tucson, Arizona, he just sold over $10,000 actually in their first week and a half. And you cover each one nonchalant because what you want to do is you want to make sure that people can see themselves at any of the levels. You don't want to just talk about doing 10 grand or more, but you also want to make sure that people know that it's possible and that no matter what the results are, those are what are expected. That's a big thing. Those are what are expected. So that's with that. The other ones that are really key as far as stop-bys go, when you want to have people stopping by, that'll make a big difference. And what I ideally want is you want to reference whoever that person was that came in.